Welcome to the Belly of the Beast, your home for original horror content. Warning, some of our stories may be upsetting for some individuals. Listen at your own risk. Today's original horror story is called Uber Horror Story. It was written and will be narrated by me, the Beastmaster. My family was running into hard times with all the inflation, and it keeps getting harder and harder to keep food on the table. So I decided to drive Uber for a few hours after work each night. At first it was great. I was able to work the hours that worked for me. The money was pretty good, and it wasn't really that hard to work. That is, until one night, when I really needed the extra money. So I decided to keep working until after midnight. It was almost 2 a.m., and I was about to log off the app and go home when a job came up. It was only a half-mile away, and it was going 21 miles. It was only estimated to take about 30 minutes, and it paid $35. I really need the money, I thought to myself. So my greed made me take the job. This was a decision I would regret. I drive to the address and then move slowly to the house, as it was hard to see the numbers on the houses. Then I see a very pretty young woman waving me down. That must be her, I thought. So I pulled up, and she hopped into the front seat. Some people do that, so I didn't think anything of it. "Hello," I said with a smile. She smiled back, but didn't say anything. Maybe she didn't speak English. I always prefer when customers talk, but I did what I always do when they don't. I just turned on my music on low, so I don't bother the customer. That's when she did something I never had anyone do before. She reached over and turned off my radio. She didn't say anything. She didn't even look at me. Just turned it off and then kept looking forward. This is weird, I thought. A little annoyed at her behavior, I thought I need to really get this ride over with. About 10 minutes into the ride, she turned and looked at me, and then asked me if I thought she was pretty. "Yes," I replied. "Very much so. You look like my wife did when we were younger." She didn't even say anything else. She just looked forward again. This ride just keeps getting stranger and stranger, I thought to myself. Then about 20 minutes into the drive now, and we were no longer in the city. Great. Now I have to worry about hitting deer at night, as well as sitting next to the staring freak show next to me. I really can't wait till this ride's over with, I thought to myself. Then the girl sitting next to me started to pull her skirt up very high, inching it up a little by little, showing more and more of her legs. And then she asked me if I liked what I saw. I pretended not to hear this and just kept driving. And then she asked me if I wanted to come inside with her to her house when we got there. No thank you, I said. My wife wouldn't like that. The girl stayed silent after that, so I figured she was done at this point. But when I pulled up to the house, I was shocked, as it was a lone house in the middle of nowhere. And the house also appeared as if it was abandoned a long time ago. "You live here?" I asked, questioning whether the address was even right. The girl took my hands and asked me again to come inside. I pulled my hand back. "You have a great night," I said, dismissing her. The girl stepped out of the car and smiled at me. "Your wife is a lucky woman," she said, as she closed the door. I drove away from the house, turned off my app, and started heading home. About 5 minutes up the road, though, I saw the same girl standing on the side of the road, waving at me. That's impossible, I thought to myself. There's no way she could outrun my car. I really need to get some sleep. The next day, I was talking to my brother-in-law, who is a police detective. I told him the whole story, and he seemed very interested. He kept asking me where the house was, and eventually we got into his truck, and he drove me directly to the house. "How did you know exactly where the house was?" I asked him. He explained that he's been working on a missing persons case where 10 men in the past 10 months have disappeared. All of their cars were found here. He also told me that all of them were driving for apps. Then he told me I may be the only witness of the person responsible. I sat with the sketch artists for hours, and the results were shockingly accurate. My brother in law thanked me for helping out and told me he would let me know if he found anything else. My brother in law came over to the house later that night, and I could see the distress on his face. He showed me a picture of a girl. That's her, I said, with 100% certainty. That's when he told me this girl committed suicide 10 months ago, right after she found out her boyfriend cheated on her. I hope you enjoyed today's story. Please like and subscribe as it will help us to continue to provide you with great content. Until next time, stay safe and avoid becoming one of the stories from The Belly of the Beast.